Hi everybody, my name is Mina. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today I wanted to talk about my experience in getting my bachelor's degree from Texas Southern University. Also, I majored in Maritime, Transportation Management and Security, which is in the School of Technology. And I just wanted to give you an overall view of my experience. I went to school there from 2016 to 2019, and it was probably the best time of my life. It's a relatively small program. It's probably one of the newer programs at Texas Southern. It started about 5 to 7 years ago. I started at Texas Southern in that program right after graduating from high school. So I was probably about 17 and I was going on to 18 that fall. But it was a really great experience, to be honest. And I say that I don't have the same experience as other people. People don't have the same experience as me. And a lot of it has to do with personality. A lot of it has to do with work ethic, And so I just kind of give you an overview of the pros and the cons, I guess, and the different opportunities that came my way through the program. Also, give you some background. In high school, I started off in a dual credit program in logistics and global supply chain. So that introduced me to supply chain and how everything worked. And after I graduated from high school, I wasn't really too sure where I wanted to go next. So I just went with my degree that I had started in high school and transferred the credits over to Texas Southern to their Maritime program, which is closely related to logistics. It's a big part of it, a big element. And they took all credits, except for maybe one, which is cool. I was like, all of them? I was like, okay. And so, through the dual credit program at my high school, I didn't have to pay for anything. I just had to be in the classes and pass the classes because I went to a high school that was in a very low income area, and most people were not going to take heed of that opportunity to even take the classes in the first place. But you know me, I'm frugal and I love whatever is free. So I went ahead and enrolled myself because a teacher suggested it. I wouldn't say I'm like the smartest person in the world, but I'm smart enough to get around, to get a good feeling of everything and see things for what they are. So I probably had about 1 semester or 2 semesters worth of classes that I took through that program, that I took over the span of 2 years, because that's how long I was in the program, from 10th to 11th grade. My 11th grade year, I also graduated early, so that kind of cut my ACC dual credit program short. And so so I transferred these credits over to Texas Southern University. In the last 3 years, I haven't had to pay for anything. Now, I wouldn't say that everybody's experience is like mine. There's only a few people, let me see. There's not too many people in the school that I've met who had that same experience as mine. And there was, out of I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe there's around 20 to 30 students in that program. In the Maritime program at Texas Southern University. And out of those people, I've only known one other person who got out of the program with, I guess, I don't know, who didn't owe money, basically. Besides me, there's maybe like 2 of us that I actively knew about in the back of my mind who wasn't paying for school. Excuse me. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's just, depending on the person and, how hard they're willing to go and get their scholarship money. you know, after a certain point of scholarships, let's say you're paying $20,000 to go to college, right? And then you get $25,000 of scholarships. Then you get that additional $5,000 back to you. And I think they usually split it up by semester. So you'll get $2,500 your fall semester, and then you'll get another $2,500 your spring semester. That's how it worked out for me. That's how it worked out for this other person that I have in mind who had school paid for. We both got paid to go to school. Now, a 4.0 is like an A plus GPA. A 3.0 is like a I guess more or less like a B. 2.0 might be like a C, and anything under might be like a D. More or less, I averaged out to have like a B in my classes. I had or a B plus. I had a 3.3 GPA more or less throughout the 3 years that I was there. And I ran into some problems. I failed 1 or 2 classes before, or my workload was too much for me certain semesters. But more or less, I managed. I could have had a higher GPA, but more or less 3.3 was like my good, okay spot. Through the Maritime program, I really had a good time. I got to meet a lot of people in maritime logistics and security, and people who worked in environmental affairs concerning maritime. And I got to meet a lot of professors. There, right now in 2019, I would say maybe there's around 6 or 7 professors in total in undergrad and in the grad program. And the undergrad program is Bachelors of Science in Maritime Transportation Management and Security, and then a master's is in Transportation Planning. And there's, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 professors who are in the grad program. And some of these same professors are also in the undergrad program, and they teach those types of classes too. Through the Maritime program, I had a lot of opportunities. So far, there's about 3 organizations related to transportation up there. You have the Propeller Club, Women in Transportation Seminar, and you have the Maritime Student Association, which are, I would say, they're going to be what you make them. Because there's, let me take that back. 2 of the clubs, the Propeller Club and the Women in Transportation Seminar, are 2 professional organizations that have members at other schools and at other companies. And so it's really awesome when you get into those types of programs and you meet the different professionals in there. It gives you a lot of opportunity to find out more about what other people do, if they enjoy their career, if they enjoy the industry, or if they prefer to move around. And that might influence your decision on if you want to take a step in that direction or not. Through the organization, some host conferences, like the Propeller Club has like a annual conference in different states. I think one of the last ones was in Virginia, and the other one was like close to Rhode Island. And Texas Southern, it's obviously in Texas. It's in Houston, Texas, so that's like a far commute. That's a long ride for us little Texans, right? But your parent club of the Propeller Club ends up being very helpful, very supporting, always taking the lead on teaching the students and the members of the Propeller Club at Texas Southern, that chapter. They end up doing a lot for those members. So it's a really nice opportunity. I met a lot of great people through the Propeller Club. I met a lot of great people through Women in Transportation Seminar. MSA is just at Texas Southern University, But it was really nice. You know, I got the opportunity to be at, you know, to work as a member and then work as a president for like a year and a semester. And it teaches you a lot of stuff. It can be a bit draining sometimes, but overall it was a great opportunity. And it kind of, you know, if you were to get into this program, get into the organization and say, hey, I want to, you know, run for this position, it would be a really great opportunity for you to kind of show off, you know, what you're made of, show off to the world that you can handle different positions even as a student. So yeah, also during my 3 years at Texas Southern, I had the opportunity to work 2 internships. The first one was a major company on the channel, the Port of Houston channel. I got to work with the Sam Houston. I didn't want to talk about that. I got to work with, no, I'm not gonna say that. I got to work with 2 major companies in Houston. One works on the shipping channel predominantly, which is awesome. The other one was a freight forwarding company, and they do the planning of moving products on that same channel as the other company. Both kind of gave me an idea of what to expect, you know, if I decided to go down that route or go with a company similar to those companies, if not those companies later on for employment. You know, you get during your internships, you get a feel for, you know, you get a feel for what you like and what you don't like, which is what I love about internships, is that they're not forever, and 3 months is more than enough time for you to figure out, like, can I do this the rest of my life, or can I do this for, you know, 3 years to 3 to 5 years, right? Through my first internship, I got that internship because the boss knew my professor at Texas Southern, and they were so close or so cool that he was like, if he's cool with you, I'm cool with you too, and I want you to come work with us this summer. I was like, great, I appreciate this. This is great. With the second company, I got the internship with them because of another professor at Texas Southern, who are both professors in the Maritime program. And it was an amazing experience, which in this type of company, it's a freight forwarding company, usually don't get the opportunity to you don't usually get the opportunity to intern with freight forwarding companies. And I know that because in the last 3 years, I've researched every opportunity out there in Houston for maritime students to intern, and this was the only one I've seen in 3 years that was like, oh, this is for freight forwarding. I was like, yes. During my time at during my time at Texas Southern, I had an on and off job with the chairman of the program. She's not the chairman. With the department chair of the program. I was on her research team of students, right? And I did a lot of support wherever I could, you know, help wherever I can. And in between, I probably worked with her for maybe a year and a half, more or less. I don't remember at the moment specifically. But when I had internships, she was like, I want you to go do your internship, and when you come back, you can come get started with us again with no problem. And if you don't get an internship, you can still work with us, and we will be glad and happy to work with you. And I'm like, yes. So I started with her maybe February 2018. And so I worked with her from February to May, and then May I started my first internship halfway. May 20th I started my first internship of 2018. Stayed with them August 10th. Then at the end of August started with my boss again, and then that's how it was up to graduation, which is great. You know, money comes in every month. I had the money to pay for my bills and try and stay out of debt as much as possible, which some months I did better than others. Post-graduation, I graduated in about 3 years with a 3.3, had chords or whatever and all that good stuff. I graduated in December of 2019. I had the opportunity to work with 2 companies so far. Right now it is May 2020. One company was a company that moves liquid in bulk. So they'll do the planning, they'll plan the shipment of these liquid products on the ship through a tanker, bring it to Houston, and then figure out where they're going to take it next and make sure they're being profitable in whatever they're doing. Also, I worked for another company, another freight forwarding company, but this company does project cargo, so they move really big, humongous pieces of equipment. They do the planning for that, and it's amazing because, you know, because the 5 positions that I've worked in the last 3 years are all completely different from me. Well, I'm not going to say completely different. They're related, but they all work in different areas of logistics. So you really get a good feel of, you know, where you want to work or what type of work you want to do or what area you want to go in. There's still areas that I haven't even touched on. So, like one of them, I'm networking right. Oh, and like with this program, you end up meeting a lot of people. But with, I'm so sorry, it's kind of hot in here. Let me start over. With this program, you end up doing a lot of networking. I've met a lot of people. I met people from major companies. I've met people who are from conferences, people who work at different schools, people who study at different schools, major schools that kind of touch into the similar major is Texas A&M. HCC has logistics. Texas A&M has Maritime Administration and Logistics. UH is started a new program maybe in the next year or 2, but currently they have a program in logistics and technology, and so we're all kind of related, but we just work in different areas. And so with my degree, I can't do everything everybody else can do, but I have the opportunity to kind of use my degree to open doors in certain areas or with certain people, so I can get in the door and see if I even like it. So yeah, you really have a lot of opportunity. Excuse me. A lot of networking. I've met people out of the country. I've met people in Brazil. Like my current boss, she's in Brazil. Well, she's not in Brazil. She worked in Brazil for maybe 3 to 5 years. I've had bosses who are not bosses, but I've worked with people who are from Mexico, people from Sweden, people from Europe, all over the world, you know? So you really get to get a feel of other people. I feel like this is for people, well, I'm not going to say this is for certain people, because it's not, but certain positions will be more geared towards certain people. There's a lot of positions that work with customer service, and so some positions require you to have a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, a lot of kindness. Other positions require you to do a lot of money crunching, and so you have to deal with, you know, being alone all the time, or having a position where you're just dealing with numbers all day, right? And what else? Some of the highlights of my 3 years at Texas Southern University. I went to a conference. They paid for me to go to a conference that is hosted every year. It's the Breakbolt Conference. And through that conference, I've won a few times. The last time I went, I won a TV, so I thought it was nice because I didn't have to pay to get in. I paid $5 for parking, and then I got a free TV. So I was like, yes. Also, during those times where I go to conferences, I usually collect everything that I can, like the little, let me see if I have anything. I don't have them on me, dang it. You know, they pass out little travel size gifts to their people, so people will come to their booths. I use this as a time to like collect a whole bunch of stuff, because through the Maritime program, they work with the company at the Port of Houston who collects a lot of products for their annual Seafarers Drive, which is they collect these, they collect shoe boxes, they collect small things to put in there, like small gifts, small books or pencils, or, you know, nice things to give to people, because those seafarer drive, because those seafarers are in Houston and they're working during Christmas, and so the Seafarers Drive aims to give back to them and show them that, you know, people who are thankful for the things that they're doing, right? So there's small gifts in there. I usually go to the conference, I collect all these little things just so I can take that stuff and donate it later, which we've done for a while, like probably the entire time that we were there. But I really kind of took the initiative on it probably about 2 years ago, well, when I was still there, to kind of collect all these things. So I'll post a picture later. Also, you know, I think what's going to determine your success in the program is you. You would think that it's such a small program, it's so easy for everyone to be successful, and it's so easy for everybody to come out of the program being debt free, or, you know, having scholarships that pay for everything, or having a job right out of college. And it's not that easy. Now, some programs, it might be easier to land yourself a job, but in this program, I wouldn't say it's a hard thing, but I would say that it's all dependent on you. And if you wait until the end of your 4 years at Texas Southern to start networking, or to start building your brand on LinkedIn, or to even start a LinkedIn account, that things might go a little slower for you compared to somebody who's already started on this 2 or 3 years prior before you. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I drank grapefruit juice earlier. And so there's nothing wrong with having fun, but you have to, you know, stay on top of your grades. You don't have to have a perfect A, you don't have to have a perfect B, but you have to be consistent and going to class and doing your homework and planning things out, because there are going to be some times where you can go out and have fun and do your thing, but there are going to be some times that you're going to have to bunker down and do your work and study, or, you know, go the extra mile to make sure that you get those extra points on your homework, right? Now, the same program I was in that other people were in, people on the same Maritime program, some people came out with a whole bunch of debt, you know, when it wasn't necessarily necessary. I had a friend who had a higher GPA than me, maybe like a 4.7 or 4.8, and she could have been getting more scholarships had she done the research, had she followed the information that people were posting. Because I used to be in a group chat, had a main group chat because our program was so small. And it just makes you wonder, like, well, if I had a 4.7, man, I'd be balling. But my friend has a 4.7. I have like a 4.3. Or that means if you have a high, like, they do scholarships and they like give you like a range. So if you have, let's say, like maybe a 4.8 to not a 4.8, a 3.8 to a 4.0, you might get 6K, a $6,000 scholarship. And then maybe from like 3.0 to like a 4.7, right? Or that's just like a range. I'm not too sure on that, but more or less, you might get like a 4,000 scholarship. But if you don't apply to any of these scholarships that are being offered when they are due, then you're not going to have any money. You're not going to have any type of scholarships. So it doesn't matter if you have a 4.0 or not, you're $6,000 short. Because if you would have applied, you would have had an additional $6,000 applied to your account. So which would be split up, $3,000 for your fall, $3,000 for your spring. And the professors, the teachers there are very understanding. But if you don't turn something in on its due date, it's not their fault. They don't have to be that understanding. You know, you have to do your personal research. My goal was to go to college, and I didn't want to have to take out loans to afford school, because that stressed me out, because I was in this by myself. These were bills that I had to pay by myself. During this time, nobody was helping me besides my parents, and that was with housing. So I would get my butt up and I would commute. And traffic in Houston is terrible, by the way. So depending on, you know, you guys in your situation, you have to figure out what's best for you. So for me, I knew that I live without traffic. I live about 30 minutes away from Texas Southern. With traffic, I've spent from an hour to an hour and a half to get to Texas Southern. And I would say during traffic would be, I would say from 7 to 8 is morning time traffic. From 4:30 to about 6 is afternoon, evening traffic. And that's when I can stay in traffic the longest. For the same commute, I could do in 20 minutes if I wait until 6:30. So yeah, I just want to, like, and it's different. Everybody's gonna have a different experience, and you may not have an experience that is similar to mine. But I work very hard, and if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to communicate, then a lot of doors are going to open for you. If you're willing to volunteer and give your time, even when you're tired sometimes, even when you feel like people don't deserve your time, if you're willing to give it regardless, people are going to think about you. They're going to be like, okay, she's a good person. This person is willing to bend their back to make sure that things work out, you know? And so when teachers see, or supervisors see that you're willing to go the extra mile, they're willing to go the extra mile for you, and, you know, give you, you know, letters of recommendation, or they're willing to vouch for you, basically. Whether it's for jobs, whether it's for conferences, whether it's a word to somebody that they know to get into a company or get into a position. But if you're not willing to go that extra mile, why should a teacher, a professor, a supervisor put their name on the line for you when you're doing the bare minimum? Now, everybody's, like I said, everybody's not going to have the same situation as me. I worked at the school. I went to school at the school. Like, everything, my whole life was at the school. There was times where I was there from 8 to 7 o'clock. 8 in the morning to 7 p.m. A part of that was to, like, avoid traffic, but or like 7 from like to 7 p.m. You know, just it's gonna be hard. You know, any degree is going to be hard. I you know, was probably one of the best students, and I struggled when I graduated in December. I didn't have a job lined up, and that made me nervous. I was like, oh, I got this job and this degree, but what about the money? I'm tired of being broke. And then, let's see, with my first job, I was probably out of school. I had probably I had the whole break off. Well, I'm not gonna say the whole break, but December of 2019, I graduated around the 14th, so midway of the month. And then I had 2 weeks. I was just totally relaxed mode. I was so chill. I was relaxing with my family, with my boyfriend and his family, you know, just enjoying the time that we have together before, you know, I hit the concrete hard, looking for a job, waiting to start my new role. So I had a friend who had graduated maybe a year before me, and she told me that her company was looking for somebody to fill in a certain position with them, a documentation coordinator position. I was like, oh shoot. She told me that on a Monday. She told me update my resume, which was already updated, but to like tweak it up for that company. And she told me to fill in the application, and so I did. I was like, this is great, this is like cool, you know. That was a Monday. I got a call from HR maybe on a Wednesday. They told me if I could come in for an interview on a Friday, not a Friday. They told me if I can come in for an interview on a Thursday. Then they told me, what else did they tell me? They later that Thursday, probably like 3 hours, I'm not gonna say 3 hours, about 2 hours from the interview, they called me back, told me I got the job. They told me if I can get started the Monday right after, the week right after. So it was a lot. It was like going super fast. So yeah, I started with them the week after. You know, I didn't work there too long, but overall it was a really good experience, you know, kind of getting a feel of what that company did for a living, you know, what my position contributed to the company and to, processes running smoothly and profits coming through. And then I probably worked there for about 4 weeks before starting with a different company about 2 weeks after I stopped working there. And so at the moment, I work with a project cargo company in Houston, Texas. And it has been great. You know, I have a boss who's super understanding, who's super awesome, basically. Her name is Anne, and Anne has been such a great person to me, an amazing person to be around, very funny, very sweet and kind, very humble, but she is just like this person filled with knowledge and experience, and owns her own company. And so yeah, now it's easy to find a job, but it's gonna take time for you have to like start from the bottom and get to know the basics before you can use your degree to start moving up towards better positions. You can't be the president of a company before you know what the people at the very bottom are doing. And let me not say at the very bottom, but what people are doing in entry level. What is their position important for? You know, why do we have to do things a certain way? Excuse me. And so yeah, like I said, everything is based on opportunity. Not opportunity, but everything is based on who you are and how hard you're willing to work. And if you're willing to go the extra mile, if you're willing to work on yourself over time, you'll totally see a difference between the things you go through versus your classmates who are on a different page as you. Like for me, I had the opportunity to work at school, and so it made things very convenient. I didn't really have to do too much commuting back and forth from work to school to work, thank God, because you know what I did at the school, it helped, you know, and some days I could take it easy, like the minor inconveniences were probably not too bad compared to, you know, commuting on a regular basis. There's people I've seen in the program who have went through the same program, and they're not really, they weren't able to experience the same things as I did. I have a friend who graduated from the program 2 years ago, and this person still hasn't been able to find a position in using their degree, so it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's like a waste of time. It's just that our approaches to finding a job are a lot different. Whereas my friend is not on LinkedIn. She's not the best at networking. I don't think she networks in general when it comes to, getting a job in her degree. Whereas me, I don't expect anything from anyone. I try and use my time in meeting other people and learning from them. I don't necessarily want a job from them. I don't need a job. I want to know who they are. I want to know what is important to them. I want them to feel like our friendship is genuine, because that is what I'm aiming for, and if they need something from me, they can always text me, call me, and I'll be here. Whereas if I need something, I can always reach out to them. And I have a few people that like that in my life right now, and they understand that they can call or text me for anything, whether it's 10 o'clock at night, whether it's on a fucking Wednesday, right? They can call me for anything. They can text me for anything, and I will do my best to be there for them or help them for whatever they need. So it's all dependent on you. If you're only going in there to find a job, then you could find a job. But, it's just about you and how far are you willing to go. And do you want the bare minimum, or do you want more? I want more. Like, money is not the most important to me, to be honest, because I've done a good job so far managing my money and staying out of debt, that I don't need the highest paying position. I just need a position where I can learn, where I can network, where I have people around me who are understanding that there is like a learning curve between me and people who have been in the industry so far, because I've been in school for 3 years. Then between high school and college, there was no time off. There was no work experience in certain areas. So I'm not like everybody else where I can just pick these things up off the back, But if you give me some time, I can, right? And so yeah, I wish everybody luck. If you are interested in checking out Texas Southern University or their Maritime program, I'll leave their contact information below in the description box. I hope you give them a chance. If you ever feel like you want to talk to somebody up there, like the program coordinator, I'll leave her information below. If you want to ask some questions about the program, just leave a comment, and I'll be happy to answer what I can, or pass you to somebody who can answer those questions for you. I wouldn't say everybody in the program, but a good chunk of the people in the program are very down to earth, and you can really make a lot of lifelong friends. And I just, people are going to be there for you, especially when you're kind, especially when you're willing to go the extra mile. And I just hope if you are considering this program, you really give it a chance. And before you pick a program, talk to the people there, see if you like the vibe, see if things are going to be able to work out with you and your finances, because you don't want to go to school and there is no scholarship in sight. Or you don't want to go to school and come out with a buckload of debt, and you feel like the job you get after your starting job is not what you were expecting. It's not something that can pay your bills, like your loan debt or your rent or other things like that. Oops. So God bless everybody. Thank you for listening in, and thank you so much. Bye.